Hey, my name is Ralph and I'm with Flexfilm, and in this video we're going to do a comparison between the Flexfilm Nanoflex and the Flexfilm Panaflex with the 3M Crystalline. Stay tuned. So in this video, I want to show you several testing measures that you're going to find in our industry that everyday window film installers are going to use to try to demonstrate window film. And the reason you're going to see testing measures like this is because the majority of all the manufacturers and the distributors encourage this. So that's where I got this from, okay? Now, I'm going to be able to show you the data as we compare one film to another so that you can decide, what you think about the films. And in no way is any of these tests that I'm going to show you where I'm going to imply one film is better than the other. So here we go. Okay, the first test we're going to do is we're going to take these three ceramic films and we're going to put them in this meter and we're going to see what numbers show up in these blanks, okay? This is a solar transmission meter, transmission being the key word. It's made by EDTM and it's model number SS2450. So we want to know how much infrared radiation is going to pass through the glass. But we also want to know what the difference is, which is what it blocks. So in these two spaces right here, these are the important spaces, okay? The top one is really the one we care about because it's going to show you a transmission number, which is going to be like showing you the score at the end of the football game. The one down here is going to show you the same type of number, a transmission number, how much infrared radiation is going through. But this number is going to show you basically what it's like, what the score is after the first quarter. Okay, we don't want to know what the score is after the first quarter. We don't want a narrow band shot. We want a broad spectrum shot. We want to know what the whole game's going to do and what's the final score. So this is the number we're going to pay attention to, okay? Okay, in this test, we're going to use one of these little makeup UV cards. Again, I'm not sure about the accuracy of this test. They're just kind of fun to do. We see them and hear about them in tent shops. But we're going to use a UV light that we got off Amazon. And this card is sensitive to UV, so in the bottom, it's going to turn colors in the presence of UV. And I'll show you quickly how it works. That's it. Okay, so in conclusion, I couldn't tell any difference. Both films seem to do very well blocking out UV rays. Okay, in this test, what we're going to use is a BTU meter. This little meter is manufactured by EDTM. It's very popular in the industry. But what it measures is British thermal units, BTU. A British thermal unit, and you can go look this up yourself, but in a nutshell, it's the amount of heat that's required to heat up 1 pound of water, 1 degree Fahrenheit, simply put, okay? Now, I took this meter outside a minute ago, and I held it up to the sun, and it's in the middle of our day, and it metered at about 250 BTUs. So just for that reason only, I'm gonna try to scoot it up to about where it's 250, and that's kind of where I'm at. Now, I'm gonna start off with the Crystalline 20. I'm gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna drop it down, and I'm gonna get a 15. So there are 15 BTUs hitting that meter, and the rest of them are being blocked out, which is quite phenomenal. Any film that does that is gonna make you feel a difference in the car. Okay, now we're gonna do the Nanoflex 20, and we're gonna drop it in, and we're gonna see we are at an 11. So we're doing have 11 BTUs versus the 15 that Crystalline 20 left behind. And let's just see what Panaflex 20 does. It's really a 25–26% product, a little lighter than the other two, but it doesn't matter. We're going to just have fun with this. Drop it down, and we are at a 76. So you can see there's a substantial difference between these supercar films versus these regular ceramics. anyway, that's the results of our BTU test. Wanted you to see what the data was, so you can see what you guys think about that. In this test or experiment, this is kind of one of my favorite ones because, you know, I used to play with these when I was a kid, and there's nothing, I don't want to say scientific, but there's nothing real, there's no electronics here. This is not a meter. This is just a simple radiometer. And simply put, the way this thing works is, you know, it's a little like a windmill type structure, you know, on a little pin. You know, inside a piece of glass, it looks like a light bulb, and there's a partial vacuum in here. And one of the sides of this flap is black, and the other side is white. The theory is that when energy hits this, one side absorbs, you know, and one side reflects. That's like wearing a black t-shirt or a white t-shirt on the beach. You know, one of them's going to be pretty hot and one of them's going to be pretty decent. So if there's any one side of this thing gets more energy, it's going to cause it to spin. But, you know, I could blast it with some like serious energy, and I can get it to spin real fast. So the theory is we're going to put these films in front of our mega heat source and the energy source, and if any energy touches this sucker, it's going to make it turn. So we want to see if our films block out enough energy, you know, to keep this thing from turning. And obviously the one that, you know, either turns this thing the slowest or stops it is the one that might be considered the best by some. But it's just data. That's my opinion. That's personal to me. You may have a different opinion, and that's fine, because, you know, we don't know how to draw conclusions from this. We're just going to show you the data. Okay, this is the Crystalline 20, and I'm going to drop it in here, and I'm going to push the button, and let's see what happens. Of course, it starts to spin because there is energy passing through the glass with the Crystalline 20 on it, which is, of course, causing that to spin. And it seems like it's going pretty slow. It's not going faster. It is what it is, doing what it's going to do. So I'm going to take this out. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put our Panaflex 20 in there just to see what it does. Now, we know this film doesn't quite work as well as these super films, but it holds its own. So let's see what it does. It is also causing it to spin, of course. And, you know, I don't have a speedometer on this thing, but to me it looks like it's spinning a little faster, you know, than the Crystalline was. Of course, you can be the judge. You can look at them side by side. There it is. That's about as fast as it's going to go. And it's spinning faster. There's no doubt. Okay. Now we've got the Nanoflex 20. Again, let's see what it does. Let's wait for that thing to slow down. Okay, I'm going to put it in. And here we go. Ready. Okay, ready. Ready. Okay, I can't get it to spin, but, you know, there it is. Data's data. All right, there is the radiometer experiment. Hope you found that interesting. Okay, in this test, we're going to show you what a heat lamp demonstration does by utilizing a heat sheet. This heat sheet is sensitive to heat. I mean, if there's heat there, it's going to change colors. You're going to be the first to see it. This is a crowd favorite. This is the most popular test that I'm aware of that goes on every day in tent shops on their counters. And so I want to show you guys what's happening here. Now, I wish I could take your hand and put it right here, because we wouldn't need this heat sheet. A lot of customers of ours are buying the heat sheet to help show their customers, but really I don't know why you would need the heat sheet necessarily, because they can put their hand there and get the same data. But this is the only way we know to do it on a video. So again, we're going to start and see what happens with these three films. I'm going to put the Crystalline, 3M Crystalline in first, and then I'm going to press a button and we'll start a timer. I don't know what the timer is yet. We haven't edited it, so we're going to see how long it takes for this to turn colors. Here we go. All right. I have to put my head out here so I can see. There it is. I don't know how many seconds it was, but it started changing colors right there. And I didn't want the card to get too much in colors, because it takes too long for it to simmer back down, because we want to kind of move through the video. I want to go ahead and put the Panaflex on there. I know it's probably going to happen quicker, but we don't know. Let's just see. I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to push the button now. Here we go. Here we go. It is starting now. Okay. I'm going to take it out. Whatever the timer says is the difference. I mean, so at this points you have the data for the Crystalline, the time, and you've got the data for the Panaflex. Now we're going to do the Nanoflex 20, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. This is the crowd favorite. People like to see with their hands what these films can do, and this really separates the men from the boys with a lot of customers, because they don't understand all these technical data, jargon things that we can talk about. And one of the things I want to mention about this video and this test is that, with that $1,000 meter, I can get the transmission data, but I can't get the data that this box can show me, because it helps me decipher what the difference is in the how the energy is managed once it's absorbed in the glass through conduction, convection, and re-radiated energy. Oh, it started. Okay. I probably was talking, and I may have shaved a second or two too late, but we'll shave it down in the video when it actually started. But you see, these demonstrations, when you've got a $1,000 meter and it shows data of transmission, you can take that number to the bank on some of these more accurate meters that we're seeing, but it doesn't always tell you what it's going to do and how well it manages the energy in terms of convection, conduction, and re-radiated or radiant energy. And you can take your $79,000 hand and your $1,000 meter, and you don't need an $80,000 spectrometer. You can put it right here, and we demonstrated that with the heat sheet, and you can see how well these films are performing and how well they actually manage the energy and the heat. And that right there is probably going to be the most convincing measure to convince your customers of the product that you're trying to sell, and the most accurate way to tell the customers what your products are going to do. And there we go. There's the conclusion. There's the data. You make your own decisions. I'm not sure what data you like and what you don't like, but this is data. Take it, use it however you want to, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.